Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. We're back from Space and Gaia Project last week, so now our video journey will take us back to the sea as we play the Hunters from GMT Games. This game isn't actually on my TACUP Wargaming list, but I've been really enjoying this series of games as I've been exploring historic wargaming. In this game, we take control of a U-boat pilot in the Kriegsmarine, aka the German Navy, trying to attack Allied shipping in the Atlantic during World War II. But besides this game, we also have the Hunted, 1943 to 1945, Beneath the Med, Italian skippers between 1940 and 1943, and Silent Victory, 1941 to 45 U.S. subs in the Pacific attacking Japanese shipping. I could see all three of those other games hitting the channel this year as well, in addition to the Hunters. The thing I really like about this game, and really this entire series, is similar to Hero Realms, we can step in and out of this game as background content on the channel. Not only that, but I can control the length of videos I feature in this series by how many patrols I do. So if I want a shorter video like I will tonight, I'll just run fewer patrols. If I want more patrols like I will for like a Sunday video, I just do more patrols. I've got my patrols down where they take about 20 minutes, depending on how everything rolls out. So that's just random musings on that. With that, let's go take a look at our U-boat. Our U-boat skipper is Oberlieutenant Xerxes Zimmer, who's got command of a U-boat type 9A, which is available starting in September of 1939. So I've got the rank medal up here. We've got engines, miscellaneous other parts, and crew status, which I'll detail how all of that works when we get into them. But our relevant parts right now, actually, we also have a... trained. So we always start off with a trained crew, but that can potentially affect stuff during the game. So let's take a look at our sub itself. We start off with two different types of torpedoes. We've got the G7E electric torpedoes, which dud out a little more often than I would like, but I'll explain why I'm starting with those loaded. Then we've got five shots from the deck gun loaded up, which I'll be using those as part of our attacks on Allied shipping. Then we've got if I can get them off without dropping them, G7A steam torpedoes. So our load starts off with 12 of the steam torpedoes and 10 electric. As I mentioned, I'm starting off with the electrics loaded, mostly because I like having the steam torpedoes later in the patrol, when I'm more likely to run into stuff that I really want to make sure I sink. Then we've got hull damage and flooding. I'll explain more about how those work when they pop up in our various potential patrols. So we'll be consulting these charts, and again, I'll point out each chart and explain what it's telling us as we get into the game. So with that, let's go ahead. I think we're all set up here. So let's get into our first patrol and see where we're going. So we're starting in September 1939, since this boat happens to be available right away. The way we're going to determine where we're going is we're going to roll 2d6 and consult this chart, 1939 to March 1940. I'll explain more about what each patrol means when we get into it. So let's go ahead and roll for our first patrol. All right, it's hidden, but it's a 3, which means, if I can ever get a hold of it. So on a 3 coming back to this chart, it means we're going to the British Isles right off the bat. So I'll make a note on my log sheet of where we're going. And then I've also got a separate log book that I'm keeping where I keep notes of everything I encounter and what the encounters actually are. So we'll note that in here as well. British Isles. Okay. Get a pair of tweezers out, even though I don't really use them too much with this game. All right, so we'll start off. Make notes on the Bay of Biscay. So we'll take our sub going to the British Isles, and we'll start off with a Bay of Biscay encounter. So similar to how we determined the U-boat patrol assignment, we'll roll and then we'll consult the chart. So we've got a Bay of Biscay chart over here. Once again, we'll roll 2d6, and based on the encounter, we'll do that. So basically, I don't want to see a 2, 3, or 4 for an aircraft attack right off the bat. That's an 8, so as we can see here, that means we don't have anything happen in that Bay of Biscay. So now we'll move to our first transit box, and I don't like how it seems like it's not wanting to stay stable. Let me see if I can, maybe if I put it down directly on the, maybe if I have it down directly on the mat, or on the table, it'll cooperate a little more. But I've got the dice in here, so we've got our first note of nothing in the Bay of Biscay. Our first transit box. Let me zoom in. I don't want to zoom in too far because I want to make sure the dice tower stays in shot. A 3. Uh-oh. So now we go to transit, and we get an aircraft encounter right off the bat. Oh joy. Okay, so we go to the aircraft chart, and we roll on this chart. We're rolling 2d6 and looking for a 6 or more. We don't have any kind of modifiers here. So we do have a -1, actually. We have a Type 9 U-boat, so this roll is at a -1. That's a 7. Which means coming onto the chart, 6 or more, so we successfully crash dive and avoid the attack. So, just making a note of that in the logbook. No attack. Okay, so we move to our first British Isles box. That's still wanting to turn. Which means our chart is going to be a little bit different, but I'll show you that when we actually get the roll for it. That's a 10, which means in the British Isles, oh joy, we got a convoy to start. Insert horrible joke about the old convoy song. So the game actually comes with 3d6. The game comes with a 2 white d6. I've taken to adding a 4th d6, mostly so I can roll for the convoy all in one shot. So let's see what we've got here, what size of ships we've got here. Okay, so we've got 2 small freighters, a large freighter, and actually we've got 2 small freighters and 2 large freighters. I was getting excited that we had a, that we had a tanker, but no, we don't. So the way we'll roll that is we've got 2d6 in the cup. The black die is going to be my tens digit. The white die is going to be my units. So once again, we'll consult another chart, and I'll bring that in shot when we're ready for it. So our first roll. We have a 44, which is... That's a decent-sized ship for a small freighter. The Kinross at 5,000 tons. All right, so now our second small freighter. $67. Another good-sized small freighter. Let's see, 67 is the Goncalves Diaz at 5,000 and another 5,000 tons. So now we'll roll for our large freighters, and similarly we've got another chart for those. All right, small freighter, what is that? 69 is 5,200 tons of the Buark. A historical aficionado is probably going to have a field day with my pronunciations, so I do welcome corrections, but be easy about it in the comments down below, please. And our last large freighter, '62. We got some good ships to start off here. The King Malcolm at 5,100 tons. Okay, I'm going to actually change the board out here slightly, so I'll come back with the board all ready to go. I set up the mat here because I am going to attack this convoy. So the first thing I do is I roll for the time of day. So I roll for either day or night. 1 to 3 it's day, 5 to 6 it's night. Two says it's day. Now I do have an option at this point where if I want to, I can try to change it to night. But that's a risk because if I try to wait until night and I roll a 5 or a 6, the encounter ends. And this is actually a pretty decent group of ships to go after. So I think I am going to attack as is. Because I'm making an attack during the day, I have to attack submerged, which means my deck gun isn't available to me. Not only is my deck gun not available to me, but I can only use one end of torpedoes on the sub, or on the U-boat. So I have to decide what I'm going to fire at this. So I have to attack submerged. I will attack from medium range. I could attack from close range if I wanted to, but that seems like a very bad idea. So we'll bring some of the other markers I'm going to need in shot. Now I can determine what I want to attack with. I'm going to use all 4 of my forward torpedoes. The only question is, how do I want to spread them out? I think we're going to go after the small freighters, mostly because they're both a decent size. So I'll put 2 of my torpedoes on. That's the Kinross I'm using, and we'll put the other 2 on the the Goncalves Diaz. I'm going to let the large freighters go because for the tonnage, it's going to be a lot easier to sink the small freighters, and I'll get more. Basically, it's the same size for a lot less effort. So now we move into combat. Since I'm rolling from medium range, I'll be consulting this chart. So I want to see her 7 or less to hit on 2d6 and no 1 to 3 on the torpedo dud. So we're going to roll. We're actually going to roll 3d6. We're going to roll it all at once. So I'm going to roll the white dice for the attacks and the black for if the sub is going to be a dud. So we'll take our first shot at the Kinross. Fire 1. I don't get any mod. Well, I do have a +1 on the electric torpedoes since I'm firing at medium range. That's unfortunate. Let's see, that's an 8, which turns into a 9, so that one's a miss. Fire 2 at the Kinross. That would have been a hit, but that ended up being a dud because of the 1. So fire 3 at the, now we're aiming at the Goncalves Diaz. That's an 11, so that's another miss. And at the last shot we're taking. That's a 7, but the problem is we rolled a 3, so we ended up with 2 misses and 2 duds. That's unfortunate. Okay, so, right, now we have to roll for detection. We have to roll to see if the escort detects us. Now, since I attacked submerged, I actually do have an option to exceed test depth, and I will. So I'll be dealing a damage to my hull, which does give me a modifier on the escort detection check, where if I roll an 8 or less, I'm undetected. But if I roll above that, I potentially am detected with a possible attack modifier. So since I'm exceeding test depth, I get a -1 modifier on the roll. So let's see what happens here. That's a 6 minus 1 is 5, so I get away. Alright, so escape. So nothing was sunk. I'm going to reload, but I'm going to let this convoy get away because that was a terrible way to start this patrol. Plus, I don't want to run the risk of potentially. Plus, everything ended up damaged or ended up undamaged. So, yeah, I think we're going to just not follow. We're not going to follow. All right, in that case, I will get all of this off of the board, and then we'll bring the sub back in and get it ready for the next encounter. As you can see, I've dealt my sub 1 damage from the exceeding test depth. So now we're into British Isles 2. So here's my lid. So let's see what we roll here. Okay, that's a 5, which means 5. Hey, it's a lone ship. So let's see what we get here. We'll roll size and the identity at the same time. Okay, that's 4, I believe it is a large freighter 88. So, let's see, large freighter number 88 is 5,900 ton Port Montreal. AKA Num Nums. Anyway, let's bring the mat right back into shot since we are going to attack. Let's see what time of day it is since we are going to attack a lone large freighter. 3 says it's daytime, so I will attack submerged, but since there's no escort, I can get up nice and close. So, what do I want to attack this time? We've got 3 more patrol boxes, so I think we'll throw a couple of torpedoes. Oh, never mind. I can only attack with torpedoes since I have to attack submerged. Might as well fire the full spread since I want to get these electric torpedoes out of the... Since I want to get these electric torpedoes out of my forward tubes. So, fire 1. Once again, I'm rolling for the hit and for the dud at the same time. This time, since I'm attacking from close range, I want an 8 or less. So I don't get the modifier this time on using the electric torpedoes at medium range. That's a 9, which is a miss, which is another miss. Good grief. Fire 2. Another miss. By the way, I did gloss over it, but I just decided to attack. I didn't want to lose a decent-sized ship. Fire 3. You've got to be kidding me. Fire 4. Seriously? 8 shots and I haven't hit a single frickin' thing. Give me a break. Alright, so... Right. Let's go for... We have an unused type of weapon left, so we could fire aft torpedoes, and... I think we will. I think we will go ahead and fire... Yeah, we'll fire the aft torpedoes as... Actually, can we? Let me double check that. I'm not used to having my rolls... Well, I guess I kind of am used to having my rolls suck this much, but... On the additional round of combat. Alright, so I will... Hang on. How do we do this? Okay, conducting... Unescorted was not sunk. We choose to initiate a... To do so, reload any torpedo tubes and roll on the... Okay, so we will initiate an additional round of combat. First, I'll reload my forward tubes with steam torpedoes. Question is, am I going to fire the electrics? I think we're going to fire the electrics at it next. Use next weapon type. Unused weapon type, yes. We'll use it. So we will fire the aft torpedoes at it as well. So we'll fire 6. Technically, I don't think we reload yet, but... Alright, that's actually a hit for once. Then fire 6. We're still at close range, remember. That would be a hit, except we don't get anything. So, now we roll for damage. We need to get at least 2 damage on this. Actually, is it 2 or 3? I think it's 2 damage on the... No, it's 3 damage on a large freighter. So we're rolling on the... So we're rolling on the damage chart now. A 2 is actually 3 damage, so we managed to sink the... So after all of that, we actually managed to sink the Port Montreal. So I will make a note in both of my logs. And with 1 sink, we actually have a successful patrol right off the bat. So, with that, I will get these stupid that last ridiculous electric torpedo off a shot. Then we'll bring the sub back in and go back on patrol. Those electric torpedoes blew chunks. I'm going to have a talk with whoever's producing our torpedoes. So, British Isles 3. I'm going to have a talk with whoever's producing those electric torpedoes. 5... is another ship. So let's see what we've got this time. Hopefully, well, let's see what we've got first before I speculate on if I'm going to attack. Alright, that is Large Freighter 72, which is... Ooh. 10,000 ton Jägersfontein. $10,000 tons, okay. Alright, well with that, let's go ahead and bring the battle mat in and we'll get everything set up. First thing we need to figure out is what time of day it is when we start the encounter. Four says it's night, so now we have options available to us. Okay, so... Alright, so it's night, which means this time I actually will attack I will actually attack surfaced. Because now I get more options available to me. And this is a pretty big ship, so... We're going to... Question is, do I want to just let everything loose at this thing? I think I do, because I can assign... With only two more patrols, boxes, I think I will just let everything loose. So we'll go 2, 3, 4. Plus, this is a pretty big. This is a pretty big ship anyway. A 10,000 ton small freighter. I think the second salvo, yeah, is going to give me a +1 modifier, so I will need to worry about that. But we will let everything loose. In addition to that, I also have my deck gun that I can fire up to 2 shots with. So I'm going to throw everything at this ship because this thing is pretty big. Fortunately, with the deck gun, I don't have to roll for... Wait, is that as a... I think that's as a second salvo, isn't it? Against unescorted ships. Okay. Alright, so I'll roll for the deck gun shots first. So deck gun 1. These I don't have to roll for duds on, but I do roll the same hit modifiers. Alright, a 6, so the first deck gun shot's a hit. How about the second? Also a hit, because from close range we need an 8 or less. So our first forward attack, these dud out on a 1 to 2. The steam torpedoes do. So once again, I've got my 2 white d6 for the actual attack. The black one is for the dud roll. Alright, first torpedo is a hit. Because remember, we also have a -1 for night surface torpedoes. So fire 2 from forward. I have a feeling we're going to obliterate this large freighter. Let's see, 7, that's another hit. Fire 3. I may have overkilled this just a little bit, but with the patrol I'm having, I'd rather have overkill. Boxcars, that one's a miss. Good thing that didn't come up when we were on patrol. So fire 4. This is the last one from the forward tubes. That one's a hit as well. So we're going to, like I said, we are going to obliterate this. Then these 2 are from the aft tubes. So we have the -1 modifier, which is canceled out with a +1. So this is essentially a no modifier roll. So first aft fire. is also a hit. Second aft fire. Is also a hit. Wow. Okay, we've just obliterated this thing, so we'll roll damage for, so we'll roll a white die for the first deck gun, black for the first torpedo. And the deck gun is going to modify a little bit differently. I want to see just how much, I'm going to roll this all the way through to see just how much damage I do to this thing. So the deck gun here, I did forget to mention that we're up nice and close. We're attacking at night. All right, so for the deck gun, we need a 1 to get 2 damage. Anything else deals 1. All right, so a 3 is... So we do 3 damage right off the bat. So the ship is... Actually, we got to do 1 more damage to it. So those 2 are handled. Then we'll do the same thing. White die for the deck gun, black for the second torpedo. Yeah, we're definitely going to sink this thing. Alright, so 2, another 3 damage. So yeah, it's definitely sunk. So we've got... So far we've got 6 damage. Alright, so those are done. And then we've got 3 torpedoes, so we'll use 1 of each colored die. Because these are all torpedoes. Let's see, so that's another 3 damage. So we did a total of 11 damage on that poor ship. So that one's sunk. Yeah, we obliterated that Jägersfontein. And I probably just butchered the pronunciation of that as well, but let's bring the sub back in shot and we'll get ready to continue our patrol. Over to British Isles 4. It was looking pretty slow during that first part of the patrol, and I think a lot of that was the frustration of the electric torpedoes dudding out, but now we've got a problem because we only have 6 torpedoes left and 3 ammo on the deck gun. Let's see what we get here. A 9 is all quiet in the British Isles. And British Isles 5. Move that over here. There's also nothing going on in the British Isles. So that will bring us into transit. This is transit 2, which means we're back on our transit chart. Nine is nothing. And Bay of Biscay 2. As long as nothing happens here, then we are back home safe and sound. An 8 is, once again, is nothing happening, so we are back home safe and sound. So we're back in port for a month of refit. We'll total up our sunk tonnage. We nailed a total of 2 ships on that patrol. So we got the Port Montreal late in the patrol, and then we came up with a big prize in the Jägersfontein. So we have a total of 15,900 sunk tons. So we'll come back. I'll refit the sub, and then we'll figure out where we're going for our next patrol. I debated swapping out some of the torpedoes in the load, but I decided not to because the electrics are a little bit harder to detect, so it's kind of a So it's kind of a balancing act there. But we are into November 1939 now, so let's see where we're going on patrol this time. A 10. And this wants to focus. Has us going right back to the British Isles again. So we'll move that there. That was messy. Just making some notes here on my other log. Alright, so now we're into Bay of Biscay 1 once again. Roll this. Seven is nothing happening. Now for transit 1. Four is nothing, thankfully. Alright, now we're into the British Isles proper. So now let's see what we get here. Now it starts to get exciting. Let's see, 5 is a lone ship. So let's see what we have here. Alright, so that is I believe 4 is another large freighter, right? Yes, it is. Large freighter 50. Once it focuses, it's another big boy. The Rodney Star at 11,800 tons. Very cool. So, we'll bring the combat mat back into shot once again. I'm kind of glossing over it a little bit, but I do have the option to not attack when I get into combat, but I'm going to here. So first I've got to determine what time of day it is. It is day. The question is, do I want to try to switch it over to night, or I don't think I want to try to switch this over to night. This ship is a very good prize, and since it's unescorted, I can't attack from close range anyway. So I do have to attack submerged. We'll throw everything we've got into this because this is a fairly sizable ship. So thankfully, since I'm able to attack from close range, I don't have to worry about the +1 modifier on the torpedo, but I do still have to worry about these electric torpedoes dudding out like crazy. So, fire 1 at the Rodney Star. And remember, I need an 8 or less to hit, and a 1 to 3 to not be a dud. Of course. It's a 7, but it's a 3, so it's a dud. Fire 2. Really? It would have been a hit, but it's another dud. Fire 3. Okay, that's a hit. Fire 4. That one's a miss. Alright, so I'll go ahead and roll for the damage on the first electric torpedo. This thing's going to take 4 damage to sink. A 4 is going to deal 1 damage. I can attack with another... I do have another weapon, so I will use my aft torpedoes as well before we talk about an additional round of combat. So we'll fire the electric torpedoes, but these are a +1 because this is a second salvo. So it's a +1 on the white dice. That's an 8, which is still a hit, and a 4, so it's a true hit. And fire 6. Another dud. Delightful. Alright, so roll for damage. A 1, I think, sinks it. Yeah, that's another 4 damage. So we nailed the Rodney Star. So we got another 11,800 tons on that patrol. On that encounter. So that's a successful patrol, which ends the encounter since we sunk it. So let's bring the sub back into view. Moving over to British Isles 2 after another good encounter with the Rodney Star that ends with it on the bottom of the ocean. An 8 is another ship. I'll bring the chart in so you can see that what we're looking at. So an 8 is a ship. So let's see what we've got this time. We have small freighter 55. So we'll come over to the small freighter target roster. And we'll find the 4,300 ton Eastlia. Now we have a decision on our hands. Normally I don't go for small freighters, but this is a decent sized one actually, so I think we are going to attack. So with that, we need the combat mat right back in shot. First thing we need to do is roll for time of day. Three is another daytime encounter. We'll be up nice and close once again, and we have to attack submerged again, which we will. I'm going to throw... For a small freighter, I don't need to throw all 4 torpedoes at it. I'll throw 3 at it. Oh, let me get the... It would help if I get a small freighter out. Here we go. Alright, so we'll throw 3 torpedoes at it. Fire 1. And since we're up nice and close once again, we won't get the... Once again, we won't get the... we won't get any modifiers on this. So we need an 8 or less to hit on the white dice and a 4 or higher on the black die. Okay, that's a hit. Fire 2. Is a miss. And fire 3. Is a miss as well. So hopefully we can do a lot of damage with this one hit. So we're on the attack damage chart once again. We need 2 damage to sink this thing. Which a 2 is good for 3 damage, so we have sunk the Eastlia. That ends the encounter, so let's bring the sub right back into shot once again. Finished reloading the sub, so now we're into British Isles 3. Six is ship with an escort. This is going to be interesting, so let's see what we've got here for a ship with an escort. Alright, that 3 is a small freighter 61. A 3,000-ton Culebra. Which, considering some of the prizes that we've gotten on this encounter, I don't think we're actually going to attack this one, so we're going to let this one go. Which I normally don't do, but one thing I'm trying to learn in this game is to draw a line between aggressiveness and basically stupidity, and I don't think attacking a 3,000-ton small freighter with an escort is worthwhile. I might have considered that if that was a bigger ship, but since that's only 3,000 tons, we're not going to. So British Isles 4. 7 is nothing. Plus, we've already sunk 2 ships on this patrol, so I'm pretty happy with this one, and I think my superiors will be as well. British Isles 5. 8 is a lone ship. Let's see what we've got. Small freighter 49. The Klantara at 1,200 tons, which we'll pass on. Okay, that brings us back to transit. Eight is nothing. And Bay of Biscay, and Bay of Biscay 2. Ten is nothing once again, so we're back home safe and sound, back in for another refit. So that patrol, we sunk the 11,800-ton Rodney Star and the 4,300-ton Eastleigh for a grand total of 16,100 tons, which brings us up to a current running total of 4 ships sunk and 32,000 tons of Allied shipping. So I think we have time for one more patrol tonight, so we'll go to January 1940. We'll come back with that. It's January 1940, so let's see where I'm going on patrol this time. Boxcars, which means I'm actually going somewhere different this time. On a 12, I'm headed to the West African coast. That's different. Just making some notes here. Grabbing my lid. And we'll move down here to the West African coast. So we start off, of course, with a Bay of Biscay roll. Let's see, that's an 8, so nothing happening on our way out. We have a couple of, well, at least not in the Bay of Biscay. We do have a couple of transit boxes before we get out to our proper patrol. Nothing happening on transit. And first transit. Transit 2. Seven is once again nothing happening. So now we're on the West African coast. So just to show you the chart we're going to be working from, we're working from a slightly different chart this time. So there's the West African coast chart. We actually have a chance to encounter capital ships now, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself there. Let's go ahead and roll for our first encounter in West Africa. 8 is nothing. Now for our next box, let me zoom in just a touch here so you can see. If you can see, the box that we're moving into here actually has a ×2 on it, so we're going to have to make 2 rolls in that box. So let's go ahead and move in. We'll zoom back out. I will try not to jar the camera so much. And then we'll roll for our first encounter, our next encounter on the West African coast. Let's see, a 5, nothing. West Africa 3. $10, we have a convoy. Let's go ahead and roll that out. See what we've got. Okay, we have 3 small freighters and a tanker. So we'll roll for the small freighters first. All right, 53. The Tuva with 4,700 tons. Next small freighter. That is a 64, I believe, right? Yep, 64. The Torney at 2,400 tons. Last small freighter. $68. That's a decent sized ship as well. The Willimantic at 4,600 tons. And our tanker. Let's see how big a ship we've got for this one. Let's see, 34. We have the, come on. Come on, you don't want to focus, do you? The Nina Borthen at 7,000 tons. All right, well, I think we are going to go ahead and attack this, so let's bring the combat mat into shot. Let's see what time of day it is when we're going to attack. It's day, so now the question becomes, do I want to try to switch to night, or do I want to just attack submerged? I think I just have to attack submerged, unfortunately. I think I just have to attack during the day, because this is actually a pretty good spread of ships, if I'm being perfectly honest. So, yeah, we're just going to... So, yeah, we have to attack submerged. I'm going to select... Do I want to risk getting in close, or do I just want to fire from medium range? Because if I get in close and I get detected, the encounter is over at that point. Yeah, I think I actually am going to risk getting in close, because I want to be able to try to put some of these at the bottom. So I do have to roll for escort detection. Since I am submerged, I will exceed test depth, so this is a -1. Just making sure. Okay, so cancel that by a +1 from close range. So I want to see an 8 or less. And it has to be natural, unfortunately. That's a 10, so I get detected, unfortunately. Which means I have to roll on the attack chart. So 2d6, and I'm rolling on the... escort air attack to see what I get. All right, 4 to 6 is 1 hit, so I've got 1 hit coming in. So I'll roll. So we're going to be consulting yet another chart for that, the U-boat damage chart. I'll roll black die for the 10s, white die for the units. $65 is hull damage times 2. Oh, joy. Okay, so I'm going to have to try to get away again. I'm already looking at potentially a month of refit. Do I want to exceed test depth again? Yeah, I think I kind of have to if I'm going to try to get away. Unfortunately, I'm at a... If I don't do this, I'm going to be at a +3 modifier, where this makes it a +2 instead. This is not good. 8 + 2 is 10, so I get detected again trying to get away. Wait, do I have to roll? I think I have to roll first for... Hang on. If I'm exceeding test depth, I think that roll was for if my boat implodes. Let me just double check that. Attempts to escape must incur 1 hull hit. Note the 2d6 roll, which could result in additional damage when U-boat exceeds test depth. I'm double checking this because I haven't had this situation come up often, but let's see, 14. Oh, where's the rule on exceeding test depth? 12. If the roll is less than the current number of damaged hull boxes. Okay, takes 1 hull damage, then rolls 2d6. Okay, so that roll was for if the boat implodes. This is for escort detection, which is still +2. 3 plus 2 is 5, so I do escape, but I think... Alright, so short range we got detected. Okay, roll hits and damage. Roll detection, so we're not detected. And okay, we can't repair hull damage at sea, so I'm actually just going to have to pass on this encounter, unfortunately. So, yeah, I got a little greedy and paid the price for it. West Africa 4, so let's actually bring the sub back in shot before we continue on patrol. Good theory, but it just didn't work out. So we're into West Africa 4 now. Hopefully I can get something that I can go after. A 10 is another convoy. Oh joy. Alright, let's see what we've got. And I might not have the luxury of getting greedy. I might just have to attack this one. I want to be able to sink something on patrol. Okay, so we have a small freighter, 2 larges, and a tanker. Okay, let's roll for the small freighter first. $52 is the Scania at 2,000 tons. Alright, our first large freighter in this convoy. $90. 4,700-ton Woensdrecht, and I'm butchering the pronunciation of this, so advance apologies on that. Woensdrecht. What was that? That one's 4,700. Second large freighter. Number 1. Wait. Oh, this is a big one. Sultan Star at 12,300 tons. And the tanker... Number 33 is another big boy. Frederick S. Fales at 10,000 tons. So we got some big ships, but let's bring the combat mat back into shot. I am probably not going to get cute here. I may attack this regardless of whether it's day or night. Fortunately for me, though, it's night. I'm going to go back to medium range. Do I want to attack... The question is, do I want to attack surfaced or submerged? I think we're going to attack... surfaced. Let's see, this means I can't use the deck gun because I don't... Actually, I probably could still use the deck gun. There's something I can't do when I'm dealing with an escorted ship, though. Okay, so I will be conducting a night surface attack. But like I said, there's something I can't do when I'm dealing with an escorted patrol. With an escorted convoy. But I can't find what that something was. Oh, an unescorted target may choose to initiate an additional round of combat. So, right. Okay, I'm definitely going to attack. I probably did a... Okay, I probably might have done a second salvo when I wasn't able to, but a little late to worry about that now. Since I am going to go for a night surface attack, I can do a... Since I'm going for a night surface attack, I can immediately fire a second salvo, which is a +1 modifier. So I think what I'll do here is we'll put 2 torpedoes into the 2 biggest targets because I'm going to plan on trying to follow one of them. So I'll put 2 into the Sultan Star and 2 into the conducting. Okay, so that's what I can't do. I can't use the deck gun with it. I thought I could against a convoy, but... Alright, so I'm going to put 2 into the Sultan Star and 2 into the tanker, 2 into the Frederick Fails from the forward tubes. I'll probably conduct a second salvo against both of these. So I'm attacking from medium range, and I need a 7 or less to hit. And once again, we're still in the... Actually, we just... Oh, no, never mind. We don't change the dud modifier, but we will be taking a longer refit. So, fire 1 on the Sultan Star. That's a 10. That would have been a true hit, too. Fire 2. Seven minus 1 is 6. That one's a hit. So fire 1 on the Frederick Fails. That's a hit. Fire 2. Actually I could have done that, so I will go ahead and put 1. I think I have to commit first, don't I? Was it the ones just fired? Before firing any torpedoes. Okay, so I am too late. I can't commit anything more to it. So, my own fault, but fire 2 on the Frederick Fails is also a hit. So we get 2 hits on the tanker, 1 on the large freighter. So we'll roll that first. And sink it in one shot, I'm pretty sure. Because that's a... Okay, so 12,300. So that's a 1 for 4 damage. Yeah, I think we just sunk the... Yeah, we just sunk the Sultan Star. Nice. So that's a successful patrol, and then we've got 2 hits to roll for on the... against the Frederick Fails. Six and a 4, I believe, is 2 damage. So the tanker's taken a bit of a hit. But now we have to roll for escort detection. Wait a minute, I forgot we had a G7E torpedo at medium range. We probably had one of those miss in there, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So we do have to roll for escort detection. Unfortunately, we can't exceed test depth because we attacked surfaced. So... this is going to be a... Okay. No modifier on this one. So we need an 8 or less. 8 or less. Which that's a 9, so we get detected. That's a problem. So now we roll for attacks. Alright, 6 is 1 hit. So let's see what we get here. $32 minor damage, so we laugh it off. Alright, so we submerge, and Question is, do I want to exceed test depth? I think I will to try to get away. So I take another hull damage, and I have to roll less than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I roll less than 5, my U-boat implodes and I sink. Alright, that's a 10, so I don't sink, so I don't implode, but I still have to roll for detection. I was previously detected, and okay, so exceeding test depth cancels out the previously detected, so this is just a straight roll. A 9, so we're detected again, which means we have to roll for attack again. Ineffective, thankfully. Alright, so we have to try to get away again. I'm not exceeding test depth this time because I don't trust my luck with these low rolls. Alright, a 4, so that was +1 is 5, so we do escape that time. Yikes, that was a dangerous one. So we finally escape. We didn't sink everything. We don't have anything to repair. Question is, do I want to follow? Do I want to get greedy on this tanker? Last time I did that, I got burned. Last time I got greedy, I got burned. But I will follow the... I think we will follow, actually. I'm going to get a little bit greedy. So... let's make some notes. You're going to get away. Following the tanker. We roll to see if it keeps the escort. Actually, we'll clear off the undamaged ships, which were the Scania and the first large freighter. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name again. The large freighter is in the drink. So we have to roll to see if the Frederick fails keeps its escort. On a 1 to 4 it does. I want to see a 5 to a 6 so that it gets away. So of course I get a 1. Delightful. But I do get more reliable torpedoes this time. I get to load my steam torpedoes in. 3 actually. Yeah, I'll load my steam torpedoes in because I want to make sure I sink this thing the second time through. So we escape, stays escorted, so we reload for a new round of combat, which I'll put all 4. This time I'm going to attack submerged. And then we're just going to put all 4 of these steam torpedoes into this ship. I'm probably, knowing my luck, I'm probably going to end up sunk here, but I'm going to take this ship down with me. So now I need a 1. So now I don't want to see a 1 to 2. I'm still going to attack from medium range. So, fire 1. Fire 1 is a miss. That's unfortunate. Fire 2... is also a miss and would have been a dud anyway. Fire 3. Is a hit, and fire 4. Is a dud. That's unfortunate. Okay, let's roll for the damage on the tanker. A 3 is another 2 damage, so we actually did manage to sink it. Alright, so now we have to avoid detection, and So I think previously detected only applies during that... round. Okay, I think... Okay, so I think we can't afford to exceed test depth again. We're already looking at a longer refit, so this is going to be a natural roll. Which is a 7, so we just barely get away. So that means the encounter's over. I'll reload the torpedoes, and we'll come back with the sub ready to go for the last West Africa patrol box. For prizes like that, I would totally risk getting sunk again. West Africa 5. A 6 is another convoy. Delightful. Let's see what we've got here. That is the third convoy we've encountered while we've been out. So let's see what we get this time. Okay, so we've got 2 small freighters, a large freighter, and a tanker. We'll roll for the small freighter first. $54. Is the 3,200-ton Hatasu. Alright, second small freighter. $86 is the Shaftesbury at 4,600 tons. Now our large freighter $28 is the Titan at 9,000 tons. And now for our tanker. Got some decent prizes here. $18. The Eli Knudsen at 9,000 tons. Alright, I see that my battery is starting to run low, so I will have a think while I change the battery, but I'm leaning toward attacking this convoy, so I'll have a think while I change the battery out. We are going to attack the convoy, as you can see, so let's see what time of day it is. It's night, so I do have a surfaced option available to me, which I think I'm going to take this time, so... And this time I actually am going to remember to fire the night surface torpedoes at the right time. So we're going to put... I think we're going to go for the biggest prizes, to the shock of, well, not me. So we'll put 2 front... We'll put 2 forward into each one, and then 2 aft, and then 1 aft into each one. So fire 1 forward on the Titan. Oh, hang on. Before we start that, I did gloss over that I'm attacking from medium range. So I did forget to mention that. and I'm attacking surfaced. So we'll go ahead and roll this again. Just, I wanted to clarify that. Snake Eyes with a 5 is a true hit on the Titan, so fire 2 forward on the Titan. Alright, 10 minus 1 is 9, but that's a miss. So fire 1 from the forward tubes on the Eli Knudsen. This one's minus 1. Alright, that would have been a hit, but that's a dud. Fire 2. Eight minus 1 is 7. That one's a hit. Now fire 1 aft on the Titan. This is a plus. This is actually just a natural roll. Because we have the electric torpedo at medium range as a +1, but we're using a night surface. Actually, this is a net +1, because these are second salvo torpedoes now. 6 plus 1 is 7, so that aft is a hit, and aft shot on the Eli Knudsen. Alright, 7 plus 1 is 8, so the aft torpedo is a miss. Alright, so we'll roll for hits on the Titan first. Let's see, 5 is 1 damage, the 2 is 3 damage, so we actually sink the Titan. Now for the aft hit on the Eli Knudsen. A 6 is 1 damage, so that's 1 hit on the Eli Knudsen. We'll get those torpedoes off. Now we have to roll for escort detection. Unfortunately, we can't exceed test depth because we attacked surfaced. And, never mind. So we have a plus. We do have a +1 because we fired forward and aft in the first round. 7 plus 1 is 8. So actually we're undetected. Never mind that. So we're undetected, which means now we have the option of trying to follow. So all targets were sunk. No. We'll repair. I think we will follow the Eli Knudsen. So we'll follow the tanker once again. Let's see if we keep the escort. Hopefully not. We'll get the small freighters off a shot. We still have the escort, which is a problem, but there's nothing I can do about that now. We don't have any incoming hits. Large freighter. Okay, so we'll go ahead and reload. Alright, so we're reloading and we're going to start a new round of combat. So we're going to stick to medium. Are we going to attack? Okay, yeah, so we'll just attack from medium range. We'll throw everything from the forward tubes at it, at the Eli Knudsen. And now we're using steam torpedoes, so now we only dud out on a 1 or a 2. Fire 1. Snake Eyes and a 3, that's a hit. Fire 2. That's a dud, but that would have been a miss anyway. Or that was a miss anyway. Fire 3. is a hit and fire 4. If this is a hit, we're probably sinking the Eli Knudsen. That's a dud. So now we need to roll for damage. We've got 2 hits in there. We need 3, actually we need 2 more damage to take it out, which I think we are. But we managed to obliterate it, so... Sunk. Now we need to try to get away from the escort. And then we get back into transit where our only fear is from the air. Alright, so we are... Okay. We weren't detected, and we can't exceed test depth. 8 means we get away. So that means the encounter is over, thankfully. We managed to escape that one, so let's bring the sub back into shot. This will be transit 3. So let's bring the sub back into shot. Transit 3 coming up. Nine is nothing, which I very much... After the fun and games I had with the convoys, I welcome nothing happening. Transit 4. Seven is still nothing. I'm having a thought right now, but I'm hoping that even just having the thought isn't going to manifest it. No 2, 3, or 4, please. 7, so we're clear. Which brings us back home, and I will have an extra... I'll have an extra month of refit. Actually, an extra 2 months of refit. But we actually had a pretty good patrol, all things considered. So the hull will get repaired. And we had 3 more ships that we sunk for another total of, what is that going to be, 31,300 more tons. What does that figure up to total? We are at, I'm just going to total that up. So 15,900 plus 16,100 plus 31,300. 63,300 tons on 7 kills. That's not bad at all for a first night of patrols, but that will do it for this session of the Hunters. Like I said, we can step into and out of this as a form of like a background campaign similar to Hero Realms. So let's go ahead and wrap this video up. Sunday, we're going to play Pandemic Fall of Rome, continuing Pandemic Month. I think Saturday will probably have the next... sometime this weekend, I'm not sure exactly when yet, we'll have the next episode of Mystical Munchies as we make Summon Wall of Garlic Bread, aka Stuffed Garlic Loaf. Next week, we'll debut another new game on the channel as we play Red Rising. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.